All right. Welcome, everybody, to Build, Launch, and Earn. We're excited to have you. I know some people are just going to start strolling in. But hey, my name is Sean Pritzkow, and I'm so excited that you've chosen to take some time on a Friday to hang out with us. I'm in studio with Michael Gray.
Yes, I'm Michael Gray. Always happy to be here with my buddy Sean to talk about build, launch, and earn. Got a great combo in store today, so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. So if you're, let us know that you're here in the chat where you're joining from. We'd love to know if you've been on one stream before, two streams before, if you've been on perfect
All three,
attendance.
yeah.
Would love to know where you're joining from and get to know each other in the chat. Big reason why we do this is live is so that we get to know one another and kind of build a sense of community.
Yeah, we have a huge community. Opportunities to learn from each other, build, launch, and earn, but also gain your insight. So truly take some time. If you have a question, definitely put it in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. If you had some insight as to some experiences you've had that molded your growth as a designer, and you want to share that with everyone else, feel free to definitely do so. It's a great way for us to stay connected, no matter wherever we are. So I'm excited to see. So feel free to let us know where you're joining from. We had a couple people from across the globe a couple episodes ago, so really excited to see who shows up today.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll kind of start jumping into some stuff. Introductions. My name is Sean Pritzkow. I'm co-host of Build, Launch, and Earn. I work as a marketing consultant and advisor, and also run a small design studio. Been doing design work for a long time. And Michael and I actually go way back. We haven't talked too much about this, but Michael and I have known each other for like a couple decades.
So, yeah, let's just leave it at that.
And talk about you.
So my name is Michael Gray. I have been a UX designer for 8 years and then switched over to full stack development. So I'm a full stack engineer right now. So I've been doing that for a couple of months now, and teach at a boot camp, working with students. Always happy to help out, give some perspective, gain your insight. So but to Sean's point, this we go way back, and this is the train keeps going.
Yeah. And from in different career histories and stuff, like this is gonna be it'd be a whole stream itself to kind of catch everyone up on. But that's a little bit about us, but that's not as important. We want to know more about you, so feel free to drop in chat maybe your role or your portfolio website, or no harm, a little selfless or shameless self-promotion. We'd love to know what you're up to and who's in the stream. And if you're wondering if this is your first time here, like why do we do this? Well, here it is. The purpose of this workshop, these live streams, is to equip designers with tools to build, launch, and earn. And we're doing this live and in community. So our goal is web designers, especially those of us who work primarily maybe alone in front of a computer a lot of the time. This is better than just watching a YouTube video. And I know I'm always on YouTube watching kind of like things like this, instruction, tutorials, kind of like up-leveling my own skills. And there's something about doing this kind of
right, absolutely. Rather, to your point, rather than sitting by yourself, there is a community out there for us, for you. And I know watching YouTube videos, it's like, all right, well, I can glean so much from that video. But at the same time, when you have this community with people with more than a decade of experience and people starting out, you can see what works best for you, share those trench stories, and then learn from each other in the best.
Yeah. And there's so many of us, I don't know, are in front of AI chatbots and things like it's important that we connect and work together. So really quick, build, launch, and earn. Where did this come from? It kind of represents to us like these different phases in the work that we do. And you can take this a bunch of different ways, but building, like many of us in the stream are builders, and we say that we're builders, whether we're building our freelance business, whether we're building a startup or a SaaS product, or the actual practical, like your job involves building websites and development and design. That's kind of like step one here. Step two is launching, getting your work out into the world, getting that next project or your product into the world and launching and all that goes along with that. And then at the end of the day, other than we want to be fulfilled and we care about our work, we want to do good work, I would say probably all of us are hoping to earn a living and an income from our work. And so our goal is to up level all of us in all three of these categories. And I want to introduce you today, who in just a few minutes will be joining us, Geoff Roberts from Outseta. Geoff, I've looked up for a long time Outseta. They've kind of been in the community for a long time. I've admired the product. I've used the product. And Geoff is, I think you're going to really be inspired by Geoff's story as well as the work that they're building. But Outseta is a platform that makes it simple to turn any website into a membership business by bundling logins, payments, CRM, and email into one tool. Often when I recommend Outseta to a client, I kind of just call it the best kept secret. I think the platform has amazing capabilities, and it's so simple to like set up. And I think more people should know about it. And how does Outseta kind of connect to what we're doing here today? Where build, launch, and earn. So build, Outseta includes login functionality, allows you to gate content so you can build membership sites and build a membership community. And that's for various kinds of businesses benefit from community. It's no secret that building memberships and community businesses is something that's growing in popularity and growing. And you hear more community membership businesses in general. Launch, CRM, email, support. There's so much that goes along with like managing a community. And Outseta has the feature set that allows you to do that all kind of baked in, and you're not scattered between lots of tools like Slack and Zendesk and Zapier and all your things. Yeah. There's it has a lot of functionality to integrate with other tools, but there's so much out of the box that is pretty wonderful. And then finally, billing, subscriptions, taking payments, and kind of managing your Stripe account within Outseta and building reoccurring revenue, which we all really love.
Yeah, and to that point, as we go through this today, think about not only what you can upskill, but what you can offer your clients. So even from that build and earn perspective, yes, it offers a great offering if you're building something. But if you have a client that needs that CRM, that needs auth, that wants those secure paid pages, think about using Outseta from that perspective too, because in that way, of course, it'll upskill you, but at the same time, expand the reach of your client and ultimately affecting your impact as well in your work with them.
That's right. So as we get started, I want to tell you about our giveaway today. So our friends at Stripe, if you're unfamiliar with Stripe Press, it's kind of another secret that a lot of people don't know about. Stripe actually has a publishing division. And if you go to press.stripe.com, there is a library of books that are published by Stripe that one is a designer, just like they're beautiful to look at. The site is beautiful to look at. But really, really great content, super relevant to those who are watching today. And so essentially, here's the deal. If you stick around through the stream, we want you to stay to the end. Like, that's our big secret. We want you to stick around to the stream until the end. And if you stick around with us, there's going to be a link to a survey at the end so that we know that you joined. And we're going to pick three by random, three winners, and then you can go to press.stripe.com and look through the catalog and find a book that you want, and we'll send it your way.
Yeah, awesome. I just want to take a moment. We've got people from Istanbul, so we got them in the evening. Then we have some people from Seattle in the morning. So we're international at this point. So good morning, good evening. We're glad that everybody's there. Love the interaction with the chat. So keep it going. Tell us your thoughts. Get your questions ready for Geoff, and then we'll be good to go. So let's keep this energy going.
Yeah. And with that, it would mean the world to us if you want to go ahead and give the stream a like, because we'd love to, meet some new people and get some more engagement through YouTube. As well as if you want to enter the giveaway, another thing that we should say is you need to be registered for the stream. So if you kind of found your way here, not through a registration form on YouTube or something, go ahead and you can click a link in the description. But if not, SeanPritzgau.com/build, launch, and earn. Michael, if you want to throw that in the chat too.
Yep.
Register so we have your info, and then right before the stream ends, you'll get an email that says, like, what do you think? And that will enter you in the giveaway. All right. Well, I think it's time to probably invite Geoff in, right?
Yeah.
Geoff, so in a moment, I'm just going to bring you in and we'll introduce you to the group. All right.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Geoff, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for inviting me into your community here. These sound like my people from the intro. So
that's right. Ryan, am I wrong? San Diego based?
typically, San Diego's been home for a long time. I am actually in Spain today, and I moved here 2 weeks ago now. So I live in Spain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, very exciting. First live stream from
First
Spain?
live stream from Spain. Yes, I don't have my usual setup, but I'm doing the best I can.
Awesome. Well, Geoff, thanks for joining us today. We'll let you kind of take us away, and we hopefully describe Outseta a little bit for the community. But tell us a little bit about you and then about Outseta.
Yeah, so I'm Geoff. I'm in Spain. I've been working in tech for about 15 years now. Sort of found my way into the world of SaaS startups accidentally out of college and fell in love with startups. Been doing it ever since, some successfully, some not successfully, but I've been working on Outseta for 9 years now. So a pretty long time. And the product is perfectly suited to this topic of build and earn. So I spend my days basically talking to entrepreneurs, everybody from people that barely know how to work a computer to people that are like software engineers with 40 years of experience, helping them bring digital products of all sorts and kinds to life. Many of them are building for themselves. At our own product, which we'll show you a bit today, is built on Outseta as well. And then a lot of people are using Outseta to build for their clients too. So those of you out there that want to sell websites, and if payments and authentication and protecting content and those sorts of things sound intimidating to you, hopefully we can break down some of those barriers today.
Well, we were kind of talking about this stream. Michael and I were kind of chatting a bit, and as someone who has run a web design business for years, and it seems to be a recurring theme, is a lot of times we'll be having a conversation to scope out a project, and we'll, especially with maybe a smaller business or maybe a non-technical founder, and we'll talk about maybe the scope of the project, and then maybe in the last 5 minutes they're like, oh, we also want login. Or we also want some sort of membership functionality. Right. I don't know if that's common for anyone else in the chat, or Geoff, you've seen this, but I think that's probably how I first came to find out about Outseta. Was I was looking for a way to integrate memberships into a project, and I primarily build in Webflow.
Yeah, we hear it. We hear it all the time. To be perfectly frank, nobody is looking for sort of everything that Outseta offers out of the box. A lot of people come to us first. They're like, we need to add payments to the site. And then, oh yeah, people need to log in. And eventually the client's like, I need a CRM and I need email tools too. And basically what we did is we looked at these digital businesses that are run on a subscription or membership basis. And we said, what's the tooling that all of them sort of inevitably need? Let's package that up and make it easier to start one of these types of businesses.
I love it. Well, cool. If you want to, maybe if there's some people here today that, they kind of need to see it to understand what it is. If you want to share a little bit about Outseta, and if they were to, maybe wanting to implement it into their website or client project, where do they start?
Yeah. So can I share my screen now, or should we get into that in a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and share. Sharing will kind of bring this all to life here. Let's go here. All right. Can we see that okay? Can we see that? Yes, no?
All right. Sorry, I hit ourselves. I didn't know you couldn't hear us.
No worries.
Yeah, it looks good on our end. And if you're in the chat and you can't see screen or anything, just let us know, and we'll try to make it happen.
All right. So I'm going to try to make this really easy on everybody. Let's operate with the assumption that you have a website and you need to add payments and authentication to that website. Really any sort of business where you need a paywall. It could be a SaaS product, you could be building an online course, you could be charging for access to content on your website. Anything like that, the same process works for. And I'm going to show you how this all works on the context of our own website. So the ethos of Outseta is you can deliver your site, deliver your content, deliver your product, whatever it might be, using whatever tools you like best. So right now we're looking at a website that is built on Webflow. Within the design community, especially Webflow and Framer are sort of the two website builders we see Outseta integrated with most often. But nothing that you're looking at yet is actually Outseta. The sort of the giveaway that you might have an Outseta project on your hands is you see a login and a sign up button somewhere on the site. So literally like the first requirement, if you want to use this product, if you want to implement this functionality, is you add a login button and a sign up button somewhere on your site. Let's go to our pricing page for a minute. So this is pricing for our own software product, but again, this could be pricing for a course or content or whatever you want to sell on a subscription or membership basis. Still not Outseta. This is just a pricing table. You've seen this type of pricing table before. But if I come here and I click on, let's say, the startup plan and I want to pay monthly, this is the first time a customer will actually interact with Outseta. It's a sign-up form that collects your payment. That is it. We close this out. Once somebody actually signs up on your website and you collect that payment, they go through a process where they create a password. They can then come back to your website, click on login. There's a little login box that pops up, and they can log in from there. So those are sort of the two first pieces of functionality. Getting a little echo, sorry here. But how do you actually implement that? That sounds complicated, right? It's really not. So within Outseta, if you come to auth and embeds, this is the software itself. There's a single script here that you're going to drop into the header of your website. And then we just give you links that trigger that sign-up experience and that login experience. So from an implementation standpoint, this login link right here, if you can append it to this login button right here, you can implement Outseta. That's all it takes. You're taking links and tying them to buttons, and it gives you that whole sign up and login workflow. Final piece I'll show you is just the protected content. So in terms of saying, I've got a page of content, only somebody with a subscription should be able to access that. If you come over here to protected content, you're just going to say, like, I have a page of content on my website that's members only content. And then you just say which of your subscription plans, in this case, I'm saying my growth plan, should be able to access this page. So just by doing that on that simple form, you've set up protected content. So now if someone comes to your site and they log in, they need to have the growth plan in order to access this page. So that's the basic pattern and the basic implementation path. But you'll notice there was no code written, there was no webhooks, there was no anything of that nature. It's really just tying links to buttons and then entering the pages of content that you want to protect. If you can do that, you can get started with this product.
Awesome. It does. Yeah, it's super impressive. Like the thing that I think of, and turn this on for a second. What's really impressive to me is like I think, if there's less code in like from a designer perspective, delivering a website to someone, that's always great, but especially for a client to not have to, if they need to update something, to not have to manage a significant amount of kind of code and weeding through it is really a big win for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah, and it is a product. We have developer customers too. There's APIs, there's webhooks. You can implement Outseta fully with code. But for us as a business, like really what kicked us off and got us to grow in a significant way was saying, how do we take this process that developers have always gone through that's time consuming, that consists of integrating a whole bunch of tools and make it accessible to the layman. And really Webflow and the no code movement and whatnot was really what kicked our business into gear in that way.
Yeah. A couple of streams ago, we talked about essentially like integrating Stripe in ways that as a, let's say, an independent freelancer can like take payments on Stripe, right? They can create a subscription for their client, a link, pretty simple. Create an invoice is pretty simple. But once you begin to integrate this into a SaaS product, there's added complexity. And some of us who are more technically minded might prefer to do that, right? But there's definitely use cases where even if you can't code, you would want to maybe implement Outseta first or instead, just to get you to market faster, right?
I think there's a couple things that you hit on there. First of all, if people listening to this are not familiar with Stripe payment links, you should be. They are like the gateway drug to all things payment related.
So true. I think I might have said that before.
Yeah. And Outseta supports that too. Like this little interface here. Can you still see my screen, or am I?
We can, yeah.
Okay. You can come here and you can say like, I want a payment link for a particular plan, and it's the growth plan, and I want to default the form to an annual payment term and those sorts of things. And when you do, we then just spit out a link here. And this is what a payment link is. If you haven't seen one, it's just a link to a page where the user can interact with that exact form. So you can do that, or you can come up here and create pop-ups like I showed you on our website. You can create embeddable forms that you put directly in a page. So you have all those options in terms of implementing payments, but where the complexity comes, and this is where everyone gets tripped up at first if you haven't done this before, is when you start needing off and payments, and you need to get those two systems working together. So I'll give you a couple just quick examples of that. If you have like a free trial, for example, and somebody is signing up for a free trial, but then at the end of the free trial period, you need to prompt them for payment. If you're not using a tool like Outseta, you have to actually build that workflow out. And it is fairly technically complex if you haven't done it before. Another one is like if someone is past due on their payments, how do you lock them out of their account so they can't log in anymore? If you're a developer and you've done this 20 times, fine, you can figure that out. But all of those little connections and code that typically needs to be written between your authentication and your payment tools, we've written for you. That's a huge amount of the value in terms of if you're trying to build one of these sites for a client and spin up an MVP quickly or anything like that. It is just speed to market. And then after that, a lot of Outseta's value specifically is you get, CRM tools and email tools and support tools and these other things that you need to kind of grow your business from there.
Yeah, it's incredible. There was a client recently who I was working with, and they kind of they had the concept of a membership site in mind, and they were on Squarespace, which I typically don't use Squarespace or work with Squarespace. But they had an existing Squarespace site, and they were essentially trying to kind of make it work for membership sites through like password protection. And they kind of built out the site independently and then said, well, what do you think? And then I showed, well, what happens when someone's plan expires? Do you like cut off their password? Do you change the password? What if that happens every day? Do you just distribute a new password? And for someone non-technical to walk them through the process of, kind of like unpackaging that. And then they're like, there is a sophisticated thing here.
For sure.
One of the things that, go ahead.
As you keep going down, like the rabbit hole of building one of these types of businesses, you just stumble into more and more of these little edge cases, and you say, I haven't thought about that. And next thing you know, you've, been writing code or working on implementing payments and authentication and transactional emails and all these other things that we do for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And that's really the value up front. It's like all these sites need pretty similar functionality around authentication and payment workflows and sending verification emails and all that type of stuff. why not just get it out of the box? And
Mm-hmm.
the parallel that we like to make is, if you're familiar with Shopify, years ago now, Shopify is this billion-dollar business or multi-billion-dollar business, but they made it easy for people to start e-commerce stores. And they said,
Mm-hmm.
hey, here's kind of, a somewhat templated approach to starting an e-commerce store. We're trying to do essentially the same thing with subscription or membership type businesses.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple things about, because like we've kind of just taken it from the point of view of someone who doesn't have any technical skill, right?
Sure.
And they're like, I just want to make it work. I want to make memberships. I want to gate content, allow people to log in, etc. There's a couple like reservations from someone who has development experience, or
Sure.
probably a lot of us on the design who are designers like want it to look just like their Figma file, right?
Yep.
And one of the things that really sold me on that set, I actually think I was on a call with James, right? Design.
Yep.
And he showed me the kind of like a first look at how you can make those outside embeds really look pretty native to your website and have a lot more control. Because I think a lot of these platforms, or especially if you came from maybe like the WordPress space, there was a lot of membership plugins that kind of somewhat created this functionality, but it always felt like something that you stuck as like a sticker on your website and just didn't match your designs. And there was always a battle of like writing a lot of custom CSS. For me, this was a lot before AI and things, and it was just like figuring out how do I customize this form to just look like it belongs on my page.
Totally. We sell so much into the Webflow and Framer ecosystems. We have this conversation with people all the time. And the short version is we have these in-app design tools here that you can use. The way I speak to this is, does this give you control over every single little pixel? No, it does not, but it can get you 90-95% of the way to matching whatever aesthetic you're going for the most part. So you can choose dark mode, you can change the button styles and the field styles and all this kind of stuff. But you can also then style these embeds with CSS directly if you want even more control than the sort of in-app design tools give you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, really impressive how to use it. The other thing I was going to kind of maybe mention that you guys began to kind of post about recently that I didn't really think about as much, but like outside as you can use with WordPress, like you said, Webflow, Framer, Wix, like some of these kind of tools. But you had posted something about like if you re-platform, you change and you migrate your website from one platform to the other. It seems to be pretty simple to bring or straightforward to bring outside with you, right?
Yeah, and you saw my silly video. Yes, you can.
Video's outrageous, and I loved it.
It's not it's not honestly like something that was part of our product strategy or even something we've marketed much. But it kind of dawned on us like a blessing and a curse of outside of the blessing is we can integrate with all these different products, so it can be used across all these different ecosystems that we have customers in. That's also the curse because there's always tiny little nuances to integrating with each, and we sort of don't have like a front end experience that we own ourselves. We integrate into all these different tools. But as we've sort of been doing this for 9 years now, we've seen all these waves of tech, right? So we started out selling to developers, then no code blew up. Now you're seeing all this vibe coding stuff. And as people get excited by new platforms and as people use different technologies to build stuff for the web, we've had customers change with those different waves and say, hey, I have a WordPress site today that I moved to Webflow, that I moved to Lovable. And we realized that all they had to do is kind of point their Outseta account and their payment links and their authentication links to their new site once they've designed it. And it's pretty unique in that sense. If you were to try to migrate a business using much more disparate technology, and they had to like migrate their CRM data and migrate their payment data and migrate their authentication all separately, it's kind of a pain in the butt to change platforms, but you can really re-platform very quickly on account of we've got all your data about everything, and you can just kind of point it to a new site.
Yeah, it's super impressive. That's like huge selling point that I didn't really think through.
Yeah. I mean, to that point as well, I played around with it from a full stack perspective in the integration into React as a front end, even before getting to the back end, and how certain scripts could be run as well. And I know you shared that you were kicking it off with developers when you guys started out, but to actually see that implementation and that customization when certain things are triggered in the script is a phenomenal. It gives you a lot of control from that perspective as well.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing us with the demo. It's really really exciting. There's a little bit about just seeing it. Like I know as someone who is often more or less selling a client on a tool that works. You kind of need to position it in a certain way to help people understand, especially if they're non-technical, what is the value of this tool, investing in something. And the nice thing or the fun part is like you've only really talked about a sliver of like outside's capabilities. Because once you have a member, it's not just that you want them to have a subscription in Stripe and connected. That's like the starting point. Do you want to talk just a little bit about once someone becomes a member with an outside system, like what kind of functionality does someone now have access into, like essentially managing their memberships?
Yeah, so this is actually sort of the fun part. So yes, we make payments and authentication and protecting content easy and whatnot. But once you're actually up and running, the other thing that we're really trying to do is keep you in Outseta for every aspect of managing the business itself. So we tell people like deliver your content, deliver your site, deliver your product using whatever tools you like best. Then the business management part is all handled within Outseta. So this is our actual Outseta account. And this is what a CRM record looks like. So as soon as someone comes to your website and signs up, a CRM record is automatically created. In this case, it's for a business, but it could be for an individual as well. And it tells you what subscription plan they're on, how much they're paying. Any information you want to capture from them is captured over here. That's all regular CRM type stuff, right? But it's really built for this use case in the sense that you'll see things on your CRM record like customer lifetime revenue. This is the actual amount of money that we've made from a particular customer, and it just tallies over time as we collect new invoices from them. If you're talking to a customer and they're upset and they want a refund, for example, you don't have to two-factor auth into Stripe and issue a refund from there. You can come over here to transactions. You can open an invoice. You can refund it from here. Just all that stuff can be done from a CRM record, which is kind of unique. But then you think about, okay, you've launched payments and auth. We've got a new member. We've got a new person going through our course. We've got a new person interacting with our SaaS product. We need to send them onboarding emails. Well, we have email campaigns too. So we've set up a drip campaign, for example. If you sign up for our software, you get a series of time-delayed emails that go out one after the other that teach you to use the software. Those sorts of workflows. Again, like I tell people, I think I'm often guilty of sort of downplaying or making Outseta sound not that exciting. It's not that exciting in the sense that you've all seen stuff like this. You've all been on the receiving end of onboarding emails and whatnot. But typically to send these types of emails, you need to like recognize that somebody is on a free trial in Stripe, send that information to your CRM, send that information to an email tool, trigger this workflow, probably stitch it all together with Zapier. With that said, all these tools just talk to each other. So like the way this particular email is triggered is we have what we call a segment called trialing accounts. And you can come into Outseta and say, I want to create a segment. And the conditions for the segment are account, where is it? Account billing stage equals trialing. And Outseta has all this data on your subscriptions and your users and whatnot. And it will just find all the people on a free trial and throw them in this segment and then trigger your emails. So all these tools kind of build on each other. And even to the extent of like customer service, all of the customer service we do in the context of our own company. Customers come here, they click on this Get Help link. Sean says, hey, Geoff, implementing Outset is too hard. What do I do? I received that email in a support ticketing inbox back here. And then we like assign the ticket to the correct person on our team to respond. So literally every day I wake up and I am just logging into Outseta. At this point, you know, I help customers implement Outseta, obviously, but I don't implement Outseta for our own business day to day. It's our business management tool now that we have a established running business.
Yeah, it's super impressive. Well, first, I know we have some questions that are starting to come in the chat. So in just a few minutes, we're going to move into Q&A. We can ask Geoff some questions. So if you have any thoughts or questions to ask Geoff, make sure to submit those. Because one of the things that's interesting about what you just shared is that Outseta does, you know, say replace a lot of tools or kind of assume the position of a lot of tools. And I don't want to speak for you, but it seems like that a number of the tools that you might traditionally use that Outseta is now assuming the role of could, you know, each tool could kind of like cover the cost of Outseta, right? Like just use zooming around the CRM tools, like, well, Salesforce would probably be alone would be pretty pretty pricey.
It's from a price perspective. I'm not here to sell you on price, but from a price perspective, generally Outseta is the cost of like a single software tool. And if you were to replace it, you'd typically need like 5 or 6 different software tools. So it ends up being a great deal. I think I'm biased, but it's a great deal. And you know, we are specifically selling to startups. That's who we set out to serve. That's the audience we want to sell to. And when we went into that market, we said that means we need to have accessible pricing. How do we make that work? And the pricing strategy is we give everybody access to all of our tools. There's no like feature gating or anything. You get everything from day one. But as your business grows, we take a 1% fee typically on successfully processed payments. So as you start actually making more money, we start making more money alongside you. That's the revenue model.
And the next thing I was going to share, maybe then we'll jump into QA, is I've found that a lot of maybe, I would say like competing tools, but just other membership off, like things that you, platforms where you take payments. Usually I found that transaction fees are kind of not super transparent. And with Outseta, it just seems like I understand where the fees goes. We understand that payments are processed through Stripe, so there's a Stripe processing fee, and then Outseta's fee is very, in my opinion, very reasonable on top of it.
Yeah, the thing that we do differently there is almost every other payment tool that you'll find that charges fees like we do, where there's tons of them. The fees are taken out at the point of the transaction, and because of that, you never actually see what you're paying in total. It's kind of lost in the ether, and we see it all the time. Customers all of a sudden like look at their bills and figure out what percentage they're paying, and they come running to us and say, you know, I'm using platform X, Y, and Z, and I thought I was paying 2.9% and I'm paying 8%. So one of the things we've done differently is we do not take the fees out at the point of the transaction. We actually send you an invoice every month that will say like, you processed $100 in payments, you owe us $1. So you always know what you're paying at the very least.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. Michael, what do we got going on in the chat?
Yeah, we got a couple questions. First from Brandon regarding Outseta. He wanted to know, can it be connected to a static site such as Jekyll hosted on GitHub pages?
Yes, absolutely.
And then from Brianna, do you integrate with Teachable or any video hosting software?
We do not integrate directly with Teachable. Teachable generally is more of a closed off learning management system, meaning they have a lot of their own similar functionality for accepting payments and logging people into accounts where they access video content and whatnot. But what we do is compete with learning management systems like Teachable that are built on other technology stacks. So all the time, one of the most common use cases for Outseta is people are building courses and they want to use like a Webflow or a Framer to deliver the course because it gives them more design control. And then they will put hosted videos on their course pages. So they'll use Vimeo or Wistia or YouTube or whatever to host the actual video content on their Webflow site, on their Framer site. And then Outseta is kind of the payments and access control layer. So someone can come and pay and log in to access that video content. That is very much one of the most popular use cases. And the people that we see doing that are sort of trying to get away from the more cookie cutter LMS course delivery platforms and build something, more custom, more beautiful.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what we got for now. I'm sure some more might come in. But
yeah, feel free to drop any more questions in the chat, either for Geoff or for any of us.
Oh, I got one.
Got another one?
Yep. It's a shout out. So I got a rock and roll CEO. He said they said I've used HubSpot, help build custom platforms for large enterprises. Outseta is incredibly powerful. Provides a lot of flexibility to customers. I believe a lot of things to your needs and out of the box.
Thank you, Mustafa. I know him.
I love it. Yeah, it's cool to see the kind of like the life cycle of a business over time. Like I imagine once you set up something like Outseta, I don't think you really want to leave Outseta, right? Like this is, you're really building like core business functionality on top of the tool.
So I tell people all the time, Outseta is in most ways a horrible startup idea. And the reason that I say that is we sell an inexpensive product to an extremely volatile group of people. It's startup founders, and we all know most startups fail, right? So one of our biggest challenges as a business is we need to figure out how do we acquire customers? How do we make this business sustainable from a financial perspective, knowing so many of our customers are just going to fail and turn off the lights and turn off Outseta. And that's kind of like a wind in our face we've always had to deal with. But the flip side of that is the customers that do launch something on Outseta that does go on to make even a modest amount of money, they almost never leave because they're A, happy with the product, but B, the whole business runs through our product. So on one hand, it is kind of easy to leave if you wanted to, but when you sort of operationalize your whole business on one platform, you tend to stay.
Any other thoughts in the chat? Any questions?
Not yet. No.
Awesome. Well, we'll from now until the end of the stream, I just looked at the time. It's 1:45 Eastern. So you should have just gotten an email that just says like, what do you think of the stream? And so as we think of announcing our giveaway winners soon, feel free to like swipe over to your inbox and check if you got that email. Let us know what you thought of the stream. That helps us understand, like, should we keep doing these? Do you like these? And we want to be able to have more guests like Geoff, things that you're interested in talking about, and present some more information here on the stream and have some more events. So let us know what you think. Probably about 5 or 10 minutes, we'll draw a few winners and let you know about that. Geoff, I remember just understanding that Outseta can like be built on so many different builders. One of the platforms I just have like a love for it. It's one of those tools that has like a special place in my heart is Card.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like a really simple platform where very similarly, like it feels like if you have zero technical skills. I know Squarespace is really popular and there's other platforms, but I often will kind of direct people towards Card. I've seen people build some really, really impressive things on Card in integrating Outseta.
Card is amazing. I'm like a Card fanboy. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. the thing that I personally use card for is you can, I think it, or maybe it's not free. I think it's maybe $19 a year. It's silly inexpensive.
Yeah, a couple bucks a month.
And you can build 10 card sites. So at any time I have a card account, I think right now I probably have like 6 or 7 card sites. These are not like my core business, obviously, but they're little side projects, or I'll actually show you an example quickly. But basically for no cost, you can spin up a card landing page. This is, let's see. So I tell people all the time, if you have an idea and you don't want to go shell out the money for a Webflow frame or whatever, get a card landing page, build a very simple landing page, and you can implement Outseta with it and literally validate your business in a ridiculously short period of time. So as an example, I don't really do any consulting work anymore, but in the early years of Outseta, the way I kept myself afloat financially was I did marketing consulting with SaaS companies, much like you, Sean. And at this point, I still have a home for my consulting business. It's a card website that I pay next to nothing for. You can read some testimonials, you can learn a little bit about me and my experience and that kind of stuff, but it's got Outseta implemented with it. So if you want to come over here and hire me, you've got an opportunity to sign up and add me to your team right here. And it's like, this is something, honestly, I wouldn't even have this online presence if it wasn't for card. It would just not be worth it to me. But card is great for MVPs. Yeah,
it's a really good. I'm glad good shout out in the chat. Like if especially for, I know there's some folks in the chat who are working through validating their business ideas, and
totally.
I think card is such a wonderful tool just to get even just a simple page up, but to know that you could have signups or people could do support tickets or a number of things is really, really impressive.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anything else in the chat we want to bring up? Don't forget that if you want to enter our giveaway, just make sure you're registered for the stream. Stick around till the end. It looks like Brandon says we provide tech IT related trainings and career pathways, and also created an LMS platform for non-traditional extended training experiences with SMS. Cool to meet.
So it was a conversation that talking about building community. It was a conversation that two members were having, just learning a little bit more about each other. So I'm glad they were able to connect.
Awesome, very cool. I love it. Well, let's start moving over maybe to the giveaway. Just to reiterate, if you fill out a survey, you get entered into our giveaway to win a Stripe Pressbook. I think there's one right behind me, right? It's right.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Just some beautiful content there. So we can, if we have some people in queued up, we can maybe announce some winners. Do you think we're ready?
Yeah, let's give it. All right. So the first one we got goes to Brandon Bailey. So
very nice.
We're gonna send you guys a link that you fill out that form and then tell us what Stripe Pressbook you want, and then we'll get that over to you. And then Anastasia Karan, and then lastly Rafaela Silva.
Awesome.
So those are our
wonderful.
Three winners for this week.
Cool. So we'll jot your info down, and we'll just send you over a simple form to fill out and let us know, and we'll continue the chat. But awesome. Well, anything we want to mention before we close up here? Geoff, you have any other thoughts?
I'd just say that anyone like new to this group, it's not about Outseta whatsoever, but put a paywall up for something. Like if you feel like you're new to this, part of my job honestly is just being like a steward of entrepreneurship. And I love that aspect of it. And the thing I think everybody does, which is well documented, is they've got imposter syndrome. They sit there and they like perfect their little website in their dungeon, and they never release it to the world, and they never see if they've got anything. You'll never know if you have something until you try charging for it. So build that card website. Don't overdo it. Throw a Stripe payment link on it or whatever, and try to validate the idea by people paying for whatever it is. And once you do that, it's addictive. To your point, Sean.
I love that sentiment. It really, when thinking about Outseta and our community here, is it does seem to have a role along a lot of different spectrums, especially, if you have a product and you want to use Outseta, if you're a designer and build sites for clients, there's a number of use cases. And then if you just have an idea and want to get it out in the world, I love it. One question that we also got, just throw it up here quick. Where's the best place to stay active in the community in between streams? Really appreciate the community of other entrepreneurs. It's a really great question, which we're actually thinking about.
We're ironing those details out.
But right now, just stay connected with us on social media, just personally, and we invite everyone monthly to the next stream through Luma. So if you've registered through Luma, you'll get an invite for the next stream. And the more you kind of stay in the feedback loop with us and just let us know what you want to see, we'll be able to do more events just like this. And then who knows, maybe we'll be able to kind of build our own kind of membership community here. So
yeah, and to that point, actually 2 weeks ago, I actually had a one-on-one session with someone from the stream talking about startup IP and all that good stuff. So just definitely stay connected. Mm-hmm. I did go ahead and drop our for our next stream. That's going to be October 26th. So you don't have to wait until then. Go ahead and feel free to get registered now. And then we'll have you in the loop. That way you can, like Sean said, stay connected and go from there. So that's the best way, but we'll have an update most likely next time when we get together.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Geoff, thanks again for being with us. And excited to stay in touch. We'll have this stream up after this event. So I hope if you are watching in the future, please do.
After you built your Outseta, your page, after you built that.
Yeah, stay in touch. And then, Geoff, if people want to just stay in touch with Outseta or learn more about the platform, where to go?
Outseta.com if you want to check out the product, learn about the business, that kind of stuff. You can find me. I am a Geoff. It's Geoff Roberts. I'm on Twitter, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, all social media.
Awesome. Definitely go follow Geoff. And then one direction, if we had another hour, I'd love to just learn more about Outseta. Outseta has in my opinion, a really interesting and inspiring ethos of just how you are building your team and in company culture and all these things. And so maybe we'll have to have you on another stream to talk all about that side of it.
Yeah, we're sort of a membership organization building membership software, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, thanks again. We'll let you go. I really appreciate your generosity with spending time with us today. And everyone in the chat, make sure to give Geoff a follow and say thank you.
Thanks, guys. This was a blast.
Awesome. Take care. All right. And with that, we'll kind of wrap up the stream today. It was really fun.
It was exciting.
Always a pleasure.
We're already looking forward to the fourth one. October 26th. Make sure you register. Check it out. Feel free to reach out to us with any ideas, any questions that you have. Definitely check out that survey. We really want to see what's working, what you guys want to see. If you have a suggestion, definitely put it in there. The biggest thing is this is a community, so we want to stress getting your feedback is crucial. So do not be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to share ideas, something you've experienced, something we can talk about, or make a guest suggestion as well. And we can go from there. But really excited for October 26th.
And I'll just throw this slide up because I just check our dates. October 24th.
I'm too excited. October 24th, that Friday.
Yeah, and that's a really good call out. Let us know if you have a recommendation for the stream, someone you'd love to see on here. We'd love to get we'd love to see some of you on the stream someday.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're up to, and we'll be in touch. But again, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. For those of us in the future, enjoy your lives.
Your next day, your next meeting, whatever you got going on.
And we'll end it there.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye for now.